You want to get your printer together, let's just get to it. Real quick, we got our base, we got our gantry, we have our display screen over here. We have our mounting bracket, power cord. Over here we have all of our fasteners. Each one of these bags is labeled for the size. That can only help. We have our instructions. We have a fire truck outside, not coming to my house. We have a tool set. This is not a piece of furniture that you bought at your local big box store. When you're done, you do want to keep this tool set. It will help you fix things in the future. If you have add-ons, you want to replace parts, you'll need these, so don't lose them. You have a little bit of filament. This will get you started. You're going to want a lot more filament than this. We have our USB card and our SD card. And in here, there's probably a pair of snips. It's the way they're usually packaged. Most importantly, I know, guys, this is a tough pill to swallow. We do have the instruction manual. Let's get started. I'm going to clear some of this stuff out of here. We'll get to building. Okay, so I have everything I don't need at the moment cleared away from this area. What we're going to do is start by taking our gantry and we're going to slide that into the slots on the top. And we're just going to set them in place like that. Not pinch your cable in here. And I'm going to turn this over onto its side. And we're going to put in 3 screws on the bottom. M3 by 14s right in this area. And we're going to repeat the process down here. Let's get started on that. Right here in these 3 holes. And I'm using the tools that were supplied with the printer. Now I'm going to turn the printer over and repeat the process on the other side. That's all there is to that. Let's stand the printer back upright and move on to the next step. Okay, so we're going to take 2 M3/8s and we're going to install them right in these holes here. And that's all there is to that step. Okay, so I have it standing upright again. Our next step is we want to attach the display bracket to the side of the printer base. And what we'll be doing is using 3 M3 number 10s. The number 10 is just an M310. And there's 3 holes, if I could, there they are, right in this area. So the easiest thing to do is, again, turn it on its side. No reason to be a contortionist. Just go ahead and put that on its side. Take your bracket, line it up, and we'll get to mounting it. Okay, so here are the 3 inserts that we'll be attaching to. And you'll notice these little slots right here. The bracket itself has some little ribs. And what they'll do is just nicely slide right in there so you'll know when you have it in place. Simply take your M310s, drop them in. The next thing you want to do, since you have it here, is take your display panel, knob side towards the bottom, and you can go ahead and just slide this into place and push downward. You can also take your good time to go ahead and connect up your cable. You'll notice there's little ribs on here. That'll help you it's guided in, and that's all there is to that. All right, we're going to stand this up again, and let's move on. Okay, we're moving along pretty good here. It does not take long to set one of these up at all. The next step we're going to do is we're going to take our spool holder, and we're going to use two M5/8s to attach this, and they just go right up here on top. There's nothing to it. There you got two holes up here, wrenches that are supplied. Attach the screws. And let's move on to the next step. We're going to be plugging in our cable. That's going to come in right up here on top. And what we do with this plugs right into the extruder. Push down, these two little arms will reach up and hold it in place. Back side has this little rib, and you want that rib facing towards the back of the printer. I already looked down inside what direction it went. And one important note, want it to go over the gantry, this bar, but below upper bar. Don't want to go over the top of that bar. Want to go in. Very important. Let's go ahead, put that in place. Hopefully I can work fingers from back here. And got that in place. While we're here, I'm going to go ahead and attach a little clip that keeps the cable getting pinched, popping out along those lines. And simple screws. That. Another one over here. Okay, so we don't want this cable floating around out in space. What we want to do is find the tag that is already on the cable, and we're going to slide it into this clip at this point. Push it up. Actually, in my case, it looks like it's going to work easier going down and up. And you'll get that in place. And while we're here, let's plug things in. We'll start right here. And we're good to go there. Now we're going to move down to the bottom again and get some things plugged in. Okay, so we just plugged in our X motor, X axis. Now let's plug in the Z axis. Down here at the bottom, and just take that connector, and we're just going to simply push that in. This part we don't want to screw up at all. Locate the yellow tag on the back of your printer, and you'll see this little box opening. There's a switch inside, and you can barely make it out. It says 230. That's your voltage. That's not what I need. I want to set it up for the location that you're in. Here in the States, I need 115. So I'm just going to use one of my wrenches. I'm going to put it in there and slide it. Fortunately, I'm at an awkward. I want to slide that so it says 115. Don't have it all the way. I want to make sure it clicks. Actually, I guess I need to go the other way. Get it? Whoop. Pull this off. This is not a touch screen. It looks like one, but it's not. Turn the knob up and down. When you find the selection you want, push the knob. First thing we're going to do is take a look at leveling. All right, so let's load up some filament and see what we can print. Comes with a little bit of filament. I'm pulling out a big roll that I have laying around. I'm going to set that up there for now. What we want to do is preheat our nozzle. I'll show you how to do that. Anytime loading or unloading filament, you want to make sure that your nozzle hot end is hot. So for that, we go to prepare, push the button, and in this case, I'm using PLA, so I'm going to preheat PLA. You can obviously go there, but we want PLA. And that's going to heat up till it hits 100 degrees. While that's going on, let's get some filament ready. Okay, so what we want to do is in the parts that came with the printer, every printer comes with a pair of these. One of the most valuable tools you can have. You want to take these and you want to cut your filament at roughly a 45-degree angle. So let me pull some filament out of here. What you want to do, straighten it out the best you can, just at the end. And then you're going to take your clippers and you're going to hold them like this. And we're going to cut. And then from here, we're going to put it into the extruder. Now, before we actually put this into the extruder, what you want to do is make sure that you are up to temperature. I just checked it. It's at 200 degrees. There's an opening up on the top. We just drop our filament in, pull the handle back, push it down in. You'll see filament already coming out. These are tested at the factory, and I can tell that they tested this with white filament. Let's load up the SD card and see what we got. We'll run it. So this has a cat. Let's go ahead and we'll print the cat. I've added a little bit of glue stick to the print bed. That's to help with getting the print off of the print bed when it's done. It creates a little barrier between the two. This is going to take us roughly 2 hours. I'm going to go ahead and confirm that. Calibration is off. And while we're here, let's see what happens. I wasn't sure if the time would go up. It probably will, but it won't register on the display. Let's go ahead and we'll print this and we'll see how we do. Okay, done. Let's see how we did. The file said it would take an hour and 50 minutes. It actually finished in 1 hour, 25 minutes. Now, I did say I put some glue stick on here in the beginning. I used the purple Elmer's glue that you can pretty much get anywhere. And it's called purple because, well, purple. A lot of people will say, oh, don't use it. There's no shame in using it. It's a good tool. And what it does do is help you get the print off of the print bed more than keep it down. It'll help keep it down. But what you want is a little bit of a barrier on there, especially with this type of plate, bed plate. It's textured. You want to give it a little bit of a bend, not too much. You don't want to be bending it in half or breaking it. As you can see, that came off really easy. Doesn't look too bad. Got a little bit of stringing in there. Overall, I like it. We're going to go ahead and put this print over in the shop, and we're going to see what we can run through it and get some more samples. Okay, so I put this printer over in the print shop, and I ran a couple tests with it. We already saw the cat that was on the SD card. I printed off the Benchy. You can learn a lot from printing a Benchy. You'll see some guys on Facebook, Reddit, the Discord channels bragging about how they never printed a Benchy. So what? There's a lot you can learn from a Benchy. There's a whole website dedicated to explaining what you can learn from a Benchy. Print went off. You won't go wrong. This one came off with a little bit of stringing. Other than that, it actually came out pretty good. So I'm happy with that. The next model I tried was this articulated dragging, and as you can see, Well, it articulates the way it should. I used PLA silk for this. The final print, I used TPU. I printed off this little octopus. And TPU, if you're not familiar with it, is more of a rubbery plastic than it is a hard plastic like the Benchy. It flexes. It's great for making gaskets and seals. And this one flexes as advertised. Problem with TPU, a lot of times it gets stringy. This came out great. Now, these 3 prints here were all done using Creality Print, which I believe is on the SD card. If not, you can download it from the Creality website. It's free. I used their default profiles for PLA, PLA Sync, Silk, and TPU. So there's a great start for you. If you found the information in this video useful, let me know down in the comments and hit that like button. Smash the bell so you'll be alerted to new content in the future. Live your life one layer at a time, and if you haven't done it yet, or you're new to 3D printing, please subscribe. Thanks.